Oh, wait a second here. You think you're prepared for a totally taboo podcast series? Yeah, you think so? Hey, what does taboo mean? A fair question. The 3 T words, taboo, truths, tales, are used in the title of a very unique podcast series from Las Vegas. Why? Because the Vegas podcast series deals with subject matter from American life considered to be taboo. Often what one person considers to be taboo is also at the exact same time considered common sense by another person. Like not listening to medical doctors for advice or how to stay healthy. Also like digging deep into what really goes on with sex workers in Las Vegas. Wait, what's actually going on in that podcast series? Well, here's the deal. This Vegas podcast series is called Taboo, Truths, and Tales, and it's been on since 2021, coming to you from Sin City. Some of the most popular podcast episodes in this series have exceeded 6,000 listener downloads to date. Wow! What are the episodes about? Some episodes spotlight strong women role models. These are not famous women, but you will be glad you learned about them. One recent podcast episode features a young woman who arranges funerals for a living in Las Vegas. Yes, she does. Other episodes present fiction stories from the world of horror that scare the living daylights out of you. One example, a 2-part story called Pumpkin Emperor, presents a demon who walks around with a rotting pumpkin on his neck and shoulders instead of having a normal human head. Oh yeah, I hate when that happens, don't you? Very few podcast series today present original material in the way that Taboo, Truths, and Tales does for you so weirdly and consistently, coming to you from Las Vegas. Okay, so where do you find the Vegas podcast named Taboo, Truths, and Tales? Listen up, I'll tell you. Go to their website now, taboopodcastvegas.com. That's taboopodcastvegas.com. This highly unusual podcast series explores an entire world of taboo, but truthful fiction and nonfiction topics. This podcast series serves as a guided tour of memorable truths and tales made in Las Vegas for adult listeners to savor as bedtime stories. These are explicit and uncensored podcast episodes. This means you don't want to listen while you're operating heavy machinery. Taboo, Truths, and Tales podcasts are made in Las Vegas, online at taboopodcastvegas.com. taboopodcastvegas.com.
Hello and welcome. This podcast is hosted by Madera D'Souza. That's me. Some of you may know me by my nickname as Woody. Whatever you want to call me, I welcome you here to this podcast. Now, let's get started. Thank you.
All right, now let's stop and hear from God. What? Wait just a second. Hear from God? Is this for real? Well, okay, if the religious right can claim they hear the voice of God, well then, it's only fair that anybody can claim to hear the voice of God too. So let me tell you, I heard the voice of God. Yeah, believe it, baby. I heard the voice of God. And I made an audio recording so I could play that recording to you and prove it to you all beyond any doubt that it is 100% genuine. Here we go. This is the voice of God that I recorded. God talks back to Trump. Yeah, that's what I'm calling this. God talks back to Trump. You can pray if you want to, or just listen carefully now.
Hello, I am God. Yes, I am. You don't think I sound like God? Well, that's because you most likely have watched way too many Morgan Freeman impersonations of me, okay? I want to speak to all of you, my followers, about a television commercial that claims God made Trump. That commercial is directly from hell and Satan, himself, voiced it. Trust me. I know Satan very well. We play golf on Wednesday nights in Arizona. We wear special disguises so we won't be bothered by people asking us for money or special favors. Anyway, Satan is behind that God made Trump television commercial. It is not coming from up here in heaven, I can assure you. I can also guarantee that I did not make Trump in my own image. Trump is a fat white guy who is also a native New Yorker. Do you actually believe that your one true God in heaven above resembles a fat white guy who is also a native New Yorker? Did you never look at any of the paintings made by the Dutch masters showing how I really look? And when I say Dutch masters, I am referring not to the cigars, but to those talented artists from the 17th century. So, don't believe everything you see on television. If you see the God made Trump television commercial, Just ignore that pack of lies and instead settle down and chomp on another vanilla donut. Just like Trump is eating right now as I speak. He's making a big mess all over his saggy lips right now. What a slob. Trump is a fat white guy who is also a native New Yorker, and those are his best qualities, trust me.
So what do you think? I hope you enjoyed hearing this one. Yeah? That was the voice of God, the real deal, not fake news at all. The title of this podcast episode is God Talks Back to Trump. I just love it when God speaks directly to us here on earth without having to filter what he says through so-called religious leaders. Who are they? What do they know? I would rather hear the voice of God directly. Don't you agree?